Good morning. Come on, this is NACADA. Good morning. Excellent. Well, as Joanne said, my name is JP Regalado, and I am truly proud and extremely humbled to be your incoming president of NACADA. I'll be honest, to come from a small town in Texas, be a first-generation college student, and like many of you, stumble into academic advising. To be on this stage is a teeny tiny bit overwhelming, just a little bit. To give you a little insight, I was a former undeclared biology pre-med major who eventually found my way to psychology because I wanted to help people. So to be here on this stage in front of over 3,000 people who are all in the business of student success is an awe-inspiring feeling. So what does it mean for us in academic advising to be in the business of student success? This may sound a bit scary to some of us, as it may be interpreted as us being solely responsible for students being successful on our campuses. But as we heard from Dr. Charlie Nutt last night, that's not the case, and it's certainly not what I mean. But I do believe we play a huge part in student success, and we need to embrace that if we haven't already. The landscape in higher education has changed. Regardless of whether our campuses are experiencing increases or decreases in enrollment, while that continues to be important, the focus has shifted to retention, persistence, completion, and graduation. And academic advising is right in the thick of this new dynamic. Whether it be our involvement at orientation with our incoming students and their families, to degree mapping, to proactive and intrusive advising with our unique population of students all over the world, advisors are at the forefront of many initiatives that universities and colleges are doing to help students stay and complete their college degrees. So what are we doing here? What are you doing here? Why are we here this week? Well, for those of us coming from warmer temperatures, some would say hot, we're welcoming the cool weather, beautiful weather here. Of course, there's lots of great places to eat, and I hear there's a little bit of shopping to be done, around here. I came to my first NACADA conference in 1998. I was a new advisor who stumbled into academic advising, and quite frankly, I was a bit overwhelmed, but mostly in a good way. I was surrounded by almost 2,000 professionals in higher education, most of which did the same thing as I did. I didn't have to explain that being an academic advisor was kind of like being a high school counselor, but not really. They already knew what I did. Not only that, but we shared a lot of commonalities in what we did and the challenges that we face. Large caseloads, varying levels of support and non-support, working with students who you weren't sure could make it, and for many of them, it had nothing to do with academics. And yes, to keep it real, as advisors, taking the blame for a lot of things that had nothing to do with us and nothing we could control. 16 years later, what has changed? How much of that has changed for us? As advisors, we continue to do more with less. While many campuses support academic advising, and we love them for it, we know there are a number of you where that isn't the case, but you still found a way to be here, and we thank you for that. Our students continue to both amaze and challenge, but also inspire us. I am here to say that NACADA is here for you, for your institutions, and as Charlie put it best, most importantly, for our students. But we need your help to continue to grow our organization and the positive impact that we can have on higher education. 2 years ago in the spring, the NACADA board and council met, and we created a vision and a mission and redid our strategic goals. If you've not had a chance to read them, please do so. I want to let you know that we're going to continue the work that we did the last 2 years. But David and I are tasking the board to focus on the following: research, diversity, and leadership. few years ago at our annual conference, a common reading was focused on an article that challenged us on the professionalization of academic advising. And that analysis included questions on whether or not our field of academic advising was grounded in strong theory and practice. Bottom line is that while there's been good work, tremendous work, there still needs to be a lot more to be done. It's imperative that NACADA continue to expand our research agenda that will advance the body of knowledge about academic advising. So for those of you who have questions about the impact of academic advising on students, whether or not one delivery model is more effective than another, and or about the theoretical frameworks that currently exist or need to be created, just to name a few, we need you to research, write, and publish. With this in mind, the board will be discussing the idea of creating or having an academic advising think tank that can serve as a hub for the type of research that needs to be done to help advance our profession. Diversity. As defined by NACADA, diversity includes ethnicity, gender, identity, sexual orientation, institutional type, size, and employment position. Our strategic goal of creating an inclusive environment within the association that promotes diversity continues to be as important as ever. Simply put, we need to continue to practice what we preach. And let me be clear, diversity is not just about you, our members, but also about the students we serve and reflecting their needs. To promote diversity is about strengthening the organization, which will strengthen our shared mission of student success. And I'll be honest, in my experience, diversity is not always so easy to talk about or tackle, but that doesn't mean we won't or can't. Leadership. As Joanne talked about, that's been a significant focus for us the last year, and we will continue that. There are many ways to get involved in NACADA and in the advancement of academic advising. I know for many of you, this is your first NACADA experience, and we are so excited that you are here. But I also know for many of you, this isn't. NACADA needs all of us to do our part to help promote the role of academic advising must have in higher education. For those of you who are new, this is your first conference of any type, or especially NACADA, you must take something back with you. Whether it be from a session, the keynote last night, the keynote this morning, the formal networking opportunities, which are pretty good, but I favor the informal, karaoke bar, dancing, piano, anybody? Tonight, tomorrow night, yes, all right. All of you are our connection to helping your colleagues, your supervisors, your fellow faculty, your administrators, connect the dots of the importance of academic advising to student success. And I know some of you are thinking, saying, well, JP, that's all fine and dandy. You have this fancy title. You're probably at the table. I'm not, we're not. Well, let me give you a hint. If you know your job, and I know you do, or for those of you who just started a couple weeks ago, or for all I know last week, you will, you have the advantage. Nobody knows your job, and nobody knows your students better than you do. For example, raise your hand if you have someone on campus who thinks they know what academic advisors you do, but they have no clue. Okay. Now raise your hand if you've had that same person who has had a son or a daughter, a neighbor, a friend coming to your school, all right, needing your advice. Anybody? Exactly. As much as that campus, some would say the naysayers, on your campus know that they think they know what you do, schedule building, they don't. Okay? So be ready when called upon, because we will need you to represent academic advising when you do get called to the table. Finally, I truly am living proof that getting involved in NACADA will not only enhance your effectiveness as an advisor, but it will help you advance professionally, and for me, personally. Like we tell our students on our campuses, NACADA is what you make it. But make no mistake about it, we want and frankly, we need you to stay engaged and get involved. I am privileged and proud to be your president. David and I and the board and the council are looking forward to a great year. Enjoy a conference, and what I'd like to do now is introduce our incoming board and council members. Don't worry, I didn't forget you. And that is David Spite, our incoming vice president from the University of Texas at Austin. You can stand, David. Yes, we don't have to wait until the end you can clap, all right? This is NACADA, all right? We do things differently here. From the University of Colorado Boulder, Dawn Fettig. Here in spirit, from the University of Texas at Austin, Nathan Vickers. Also on incoming board, Dana Zahorik from Fox Valley Technical College. And our incoming council, Carrie Kincannon from Oregon State University. Michael Brody Brochures from University of Southern Indiana. And Karen Archambault, yes, from Drexel University. But truly, we look forward to a great year. Thank you very much.